Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host, Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a good night. And above all else, that you're looking after yourselves and one another. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the seventh day of the 12 albums of Christmas. I'm again joined by my two cohorts and co-hosts. We have Mr. Peter Frickin' Cottontail,
Hey,
otherwise known as Canyon. By the way, Peter's eye is fixed, okay, from the last episode. And we also have down below Mr. Santa Claus, otherwise
Hello,
known as Jim Bricker. How's it going, Jim?
doing all right.
Good
Santa
to
of the
know.
Hour.
Good to know. Good to have you guys with me on this adventure. And it's been an adventure, guys, I'm telling you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, um, we have put together, sorry, a list of 12 albums each, uh, Christmas themed, that we feel um, that are special for whatever reason. Either actually, the common theme for these albums and these episodes is that these albums bring back good memories for us. Um, so we're going to bring this list to you. And kicking off the seventh day, I'm going to go with, let me see, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. We're going to go with Ken.
Thank you, Armando.
You're very welcome.
This one is probably the most niche of all my choices. Um, there again, it goes back to my many years studying music in college and working with orchestras and choirs and blah, blah, blah. There was an American composer by the name John Rutter, contemporary, primarily a choral composer, although he did expand, and he formed a group at Cambridge called the Cambridge Singers and became not just their artistic director, but their conductor also. Um, Many recordings done by him and the group. Um, this is one example of um, choir and orchestra, 23 tracks, and it's a combination of songs that are original that Rutter wrote himself, or the traditional Christmas carols that he arranged for the group. This is probably one that this is not something that you will hear on the radio or on the PA system in the supermarket or something like that. It's usually only going to be recognized by people that sing in community choirs and church choirs and whatever. But it just sounds so wonderful. The arrangements are so fresh and new. His original songs are just absolutely brilliant. And the Cambridge Singers, they knock it out of the park every single time. So this is going to be um, almost the last one on the list for the 12 that's going to fall into this category. But if that is your wheelhouse, I recommend it. It's released in 2002. It's called the John Rutter Christmas Album. It's not the only one that they recorded. There's some other Christmas albums too. This was just the one that I bought when it came out because I had, at the time, uh, in college, I had conducted the college choir with several of his originals. So yeah, these hold a very special place in my early years in my history. The John Rutter Christmas album.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Great. All right. Mr. Santa Claus.
Me. All right.
Yes.
So last time I talked about an album that was new, but it felt like a really, really traditional Christmas album. And that was I've sort of entered the traditional Christmas album section of my list at this time. And it's you can't have Christmas and not have Nat King Cole. Just gonna say it. Um, so I'm going with the album called The Christmas Song that came out in 1962. Um, it was a repackaging and a reissue of an album that came out in 1960 called The Magic of Christmas. What they did is they removed God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, removed Deck the Halls, and added the Christmas song, um, and retitled the whole album based on that. So, I mean, Nat has recorded, chestnuts roasting on an open fire, 3 or 4 times in his career. And it was I think the latest recording is the one that made the huge hit, and that's what they based this whole album around. Um, you know, just like the Amy Grant record, this has all the feels of Christmas to it, and there is a song on here, "O Tannenbaum," which most people know as "O Christmas Tree," but Nat sings the entire song in its native German.
Yes.
Now, I don't know about all y'all, but for me, I could take an entire album of Nat King Cole singing in German. I have never heard the German language sung so beautifully as when Nat King Cole takes it on.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, this whole record is just sublime. It's a perfect Christmas morning album, Christmas Eve album, 3 days before Christmas album, whatever. You know, much like, we collectively put a Charlie Brown Christmas on like Mount Olympus.
Yeah.
This is pretty close to the top as well. Just Nat's version of the Christmas song has its own place in the pantheon of
Yeah.
Christmas classics. So,
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah. His voice is just so smooth and like so rich.
Yeah.
When
Now, kids, we don't recommend smoking like 6 packs of cigarettes a day to get that smoothness of voice,
no,
but
no, we don't.
probably part of his secret sauce.
There you go. There you go. I didn't know that, but you
Oh,
learn
he
something
smoked like a
new.
chimney.
Oh, God. 6 packs a day?
I may be exaggerating.
Sweet Jesus. Okay. All right. All right. Good choice. Ladies and gentlemen, my pick for the seventh day of the 12 albums of Christmas, it would be considered one of the more conventional releases and artists. We are going with, and Bob's going to love this, Anne Murray with What a Wonderful Christmas. Double CD released in 2001. This is your basic standard Christmas fare in terms of the carols are on it. Joy to the World. Uh, you know, I came upon a midnight clear. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Winter Wonderland. What I like about Anne Marie, to me, she has a very warm and comforting voice, very rich in her delivery, very full, very lush. Okay, much like Karen Carpenter. Although I put Karen Carpenter up here, and Murray's just a little bit below, but doesn't mean that she's not as good. Okay, um, there's just a naturalness, if that makes sense, in her voice
Sure.
and her delivery. Okay, very very much like butter. Okay, it just melts all over you. Okay, it's beautiful. This is a double CD collection. You can still get it today on Amazon. Something like 28 tracks on 2 CDs. So something like 14 tracks per disc. And it goes for like 33.95 on Amazon.ca and .com and .uk, depending where you're watching from. So
.de.
exactly. So I just feel that her voice, it's very comforting. When I think of Anne Murray, I think of Canadian music, Canadian folk music, and country, and it's very comforting and it's very soothing, like an old friend. So that's my pick for the seventh day of the 12 albums of Christmas. So,
I wonder if Anne had had the benefit of a Richard Carpenter the way Karen did, if Anne's vocals might have been upped, just a little bit higher, just because she could have, you know, partaken in the beautiful harmonies that Richard wrote.
yeah, yeah. I could see them working. I could see them working together quite easily, quite easily.
Yeah.
But I think at the time, not to get too deeply into it, but I think at the time, they both Karen Carpenter and Anne Murray were very insular in terms of their the teams they worked with.
Sure.
So I mean, no offense. Karen probably couldn't go to the bathroom without Richard knowing where she was, kind of a thing. It was that kind of a situation, very insular, very protective. And I
Yeah.
would imagine it was the same for Anne Murray, you know. But there you have it, guys. Our picks for the seventh day of the 12 albums of Christmas. Please put down in the comments below what your picks are for the seventh day. And again, any genre, even heavy metal. If there's a heavy metal Christmas album out there, and I'm sure there is in some markets, please let us know about it. All right. And I want to thank Peter Cottontail for coming along for this ride, along with Mr. Santa Claus, Jim, and Ken. Thank you for joining me on this adventure. Let's call it that. And we will be back with the sixth day of the 12 albums of Christmas. Please look after yourselves and one another, okay? And have a Merry Christmas and very Happy New Year coming up. All right? Bye for now.